with our backers, TopOdds, TopOdds.com, TopOdds Compare on Twitter. Brandon from TopOdds, you're there. And I guess PSL betting is pretty much going to be all about Kaiser Chiefs, maybe a bit of Sundowns.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think Wits last night let it slip a little bit. I expected them to beat Pretoria University.
So did I. So did Gavin.
They didn't. I had a double Wits University onto Chiefs. Chiefs came through and Wits didn't, and I was a little bit disappointed because I think that if Chiefs didn't win that game, Wits needed to win theirs. And obviously not knowing the result, if Chiefs scored late. I was a bit disappointed in Wits, but I was even more surprised at the comments that Stuart Baxter made after that game. I did watch the interview, where it seemed to me like he questioned his future at Kaiser Chiefs because of the fans, and it was very strange.
Yeah, it was. But we did speak to Stuart just now, and I made the point to Stuart on the phone off air that some people are saying, he said, I have to question whether I want to be at a club that treats their players this way. That's paraphrasing what he said. And a few of them said, is he suggesting he wants to get out? He isn't suggesting that. He's saying that he finds it so difficult sitting there listening to someone as hardworking and good in training and always there, Kingston and Carter, getting booed by the fans. He does find it very, very difficult to put up with. And I hope that the Chiefs fans pay attention to this. But of course, the problem Chiefs has is they play all over the country, don't they? And they always have a big crowd wherever they go. It's always majority Chiefs, and your fans are all over the country. It's not like they're all stuck in Soweto and you can have a big meeting with all of them. Blimey, Polokwane, Nelspruit, Cape Town, even Port Elizabeth. There are loads of Chiefs fans, and that makes it quite difficult, I think, to pull together some kind of strict regime on the way Kaiser Chiefs fans behave.
Yeah, maybe it was a strategic move, to pull his players together and get his players behind him. Although I don't think he's had a problem, with that this season. But I just think to come out and say something like that, surely you want the fans on your side. And I think he lost a couple of supporters after saying that. Whether or not he meant what he said. It just sounded to me like sitting as a layman there that he wants to get out of the Chiefs job and. Anyway, it was very interesting. The PSL is getting very, very, very interesting.
Yes,
Chiefs needed to win that game, and they did win it. They went off and beat Pirates. We said that was a massive game, in the title race. And you look at it, if Chiefs drew against Pirates and drew again, and Wits and Sundowns, get some victories, the league was wide open once again, and just hasn't gone that way. And Baxter, as you said, he's won ugly once again. Although Chiefs did dominate. I mean, they should have won that game 4-5-0 last night. As you said, they hit the bar, but at the end of the day, I mean, they came out and won, and that's what championship sides do.
Yeah.
I know that is it CAF Champions League this weekend.
It is, yeah.
It is, and it takes a lot of pressure off them now. I mean, they've got a bit of a cushion at the top, and can go concentrate on that African tournament. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But I'd like to turn our attention again to Premier League this weekend, and obviously. The Chelsea-Arsenal fixture, that has to be a fixture that stands out. If we have a look at the betting, both bookmakers, that's Allen Bookmaker and World Sports Betting, offering Chelsea up at 9-10 at home to beat Arsenal, who were league leaders for a long time. Were never given the credit that I believe they should have had when they were on top. But the pundits have been correct; they've fallen away just a little bit. Although it was a massive win last weekend against Tottenham. That's a London derby, and to get 3 points there fairly comfortably, is always a good thing. But they're 7-2, so just under, or 34-10 with World Sports Betting. Allen Bookmaker 67-20. It's just under 7-2 for Arsenal to beat Chelsea, but I can't see that happening now. I don't know how you feel.
You can't back them to beat Chelsea at 7-2. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Brandon? My Arsenal, who hung on for 89 minutes against Spurs. The early goal, magnificent early goal from Oziki. At 89 minutes, I spent kicking my dog, chewing the grass outside. The neighbours were worried. The security were coming around to my house and asking if there'd been an Oscar-style toilet incident. And all because Arsenal had to hang on for 89 minutes after that goal. And to win the North London derby like that was quite sensational. I thought Koscielny, Mertesacker, Sanya, oh, mate, what a game that was. And now we've got Chelsea, and you're saying, no, don't back them. I can't.
Yeah,
You're a Man United fan.
But
You've hurt me.
I'm in good spirits after last night's performance. Although I do think that if Olympiacos took their chances, David Moyes might not have a job this morning, but they didn't. And, just back to this Chelsea, anybody else but Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason Arsenal are just under 3.5 to 1 because of Mourinho's record at home. I mean, he hasn't lost a game in his Premier League era both times. It's just going to be so difficult for Arsenal to get something. Let's put it this way. I say if Arsenal get 3 points, they'll win the league.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that on radio. And you can hold me to it because I don't think they can go there and win the game. A draw at best. And I think Mourinho will be disappointed with the draw, being at home. But I suppose the ball's around there and anything can happen.
Mate, I think that Mourinho hasn't lost at home. Obviously, that includes his time at Real Madrid for 2.5 years to any club in any league at home. So Arsenal going to Chelsea win. I think, if Arsenal were to win there, then we'd all be pretty cock-a-hoop and start to talk about them for the title. Although I still think Manchester City, with their games in hand, must be favourites, even if Chelsea were to slip up badly, because they're now focusing on Europe, I feel.
Who, Manchester City?
No, I think Chelsea are now focusing on Europe.
Yeah,
Man City have got those games in hand. I think they'll come roaring through. I think Arsenal will finish third, fourth, and Liverpool, Man City without the European distraction. Obviously, Arsenal have got the FA Cup distraction, haven't they? So, yeah, I think Man City.
I think the worst thing that could have happened, like you say, for the other teams is that Man City, are out of Europe because that squad is just too big. You'd feel for them to struggle in the Premier League, and they should win all their games in hand. The problem with having games in hand is that you have to win them, and we saw with Pirates that it becomes a little bit of extra added pressure because the games become so much more important because you know what you have to do. When you're on level points, you never know what Chelsea's going to do in the fixture on the same Saturday as you playing. Chelsea have got the points already. You need to go and get them, and that could prove a little bit of pressure for Man City. Although they've won the league before, it wasn't under Pellegrini. So, maybe just, I don't know, with that squad, you can't bet against them, really. And the betting's telling you that they're Arsenal favourites to win the league. But, geez, the special one, I don't know, hey. I like them a little bit to win the Champions League, Chelsea. I think they've got enough, and they can beat anyone on their day. And the league just might be the same story if his squad can hold it out. Hazard's playing so well, but you think a little niggle or an injury to him, and, the side looks a little bit different. And it's so difficult at this stage, but I think that the massive run of fixtures is over in the league, and there's a little bit of space between them now. They're not in the FA Cup, or are they in the FA Cup, Chelsea, at the moment?
No. Arsenal are the big side left. In the semi-finals, it's got to be. It's Arsenal, Hull, and Wigan. It's all second division and third division clubs, isn't it? It's just unbelievable what's happening in the FA Cup. So Chelsea, Man City, Man United, all out, leaving Arsenal to play in the FA Cup. I think they'll focus on that. I honestly do. And in the semi-finals, they've got Hull. In the final, they'll probably have Wigan or Sheffield United or someone, and then it's all gone, mate. And so that's why I'm saying Man City or Liverpool don't have the distraction of the FA Cup or Europe. Chelsea now go into the quarter-final draw for the Champions League tomorrow with all those huge sides and Man United, and that's how it looks. It's going to be. That's how I think it's going to pan out. And that's what I've always said.
Well, you know what? If I was an Arsenal, if I was Arsene Wenger at the moment, besides all the tin foil in terms of silverware that he's got in the kitchen at the Arsenal ground, I think he needs to go for this FA Cup, and he needs to go for it in a big way, because I think he's the fans of Arsenal are expecting at least some sort of silverware this season,
mate.
Especially Ozil. So I think he's got to go for it, and tin foil's just not enough anymore.
It isn't. 2005, Vieira scored the winning penalty in a shootout against Manchester United. That's the last time Arsenal won anything. They lost a League Cup final after that. They lost a semi-final to Chelsea in the FA Cup. And there's just been nothing since 2005, so they have to focus on that. There's no question of that. So, but let's just to sum up briefly on the Chelsea-Arsenal situation. There is no question that Arsenal can win at Chelsea. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying to you, there's no question that Arsenal will win at Chelsea. They can't win at Chelsea.
No, that's right.
I
agree.
The best that they can get is maybe a draw, and I think Mourinho will be disappointed with that.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, mate. And then we got pretty easy games for the other title contenders, haven't we? I'm just clipping back. For our listeners and viewers, www.topodds.com. Go down the green menu on the left to football. And obviously, you've got great Super Rugby and I imagine World Cup, World T20 odds as well that people can bet on. You click on the site, you look at the comparative bets from different companies, and you simply click on it and you can bet. You can set up an account and you can bet. That's what we're asking you to do with Top Odds Compare. But looking at Saturday, apart from the Chelsea-Arsenal game, which is the 2:45 kickoff, the early kickoff in South Africa, 2:45 Central African time, then you go Cardiff-Liverpool, the 5 o'clock kickoffs, all 3 o'clock in England. Cardiff against Liverpool can only be Liverpool. Man City-Fulham can only be Man City, although Fulham did beat Newcastle last week, it was a miracle. And then you got West Ham Man United in the late game at 7:30. Surely those are wins for the big sides, aren't they?
Yeah, Liverpool, I wouldn't say they impressed me against Manchester United, but I think I did tip them last week to win, and I thought they'd win convincingly, and they did. I know it was penalties, never a nice way to lose, and I am a Man United fan, but I just had a feeling in that game that this Liverpool side are better than we think they are. And after that victory, they've shortened to 3-1 to win the league. I'm not saying that they can win it, but they have to be contenders after that performance.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I think this Liverpool side might just falter, they don't. They keep going, they get the results. And, at the end of the day, Manchester United won a very average league last season with Van Persie at his best. And Liverpool have the two strikers in Daniel Sturridge and Suarez at their best at the moment. So they've got to play all the big sides still, I think, at home. And it could just be a situation where Liverpool find themselves pipping everybody for the title, and I'd never ever thought I'd say that.
No, I mean, yeah. It's amazing.
Especially with your mid-tier manager, Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, I always said, mate, even when they were right in position to start challenging for the title, Brendan Rodgers was still saying, well, we're not really title contenders, and I thought that kind of epitomised him. But having beaten Man United 3-1 and being awarded 3 penalties at Old Trafford, unheard of, unthought of under the Fergie reign, it suddenly looks like Brendan Rodgers has done everything right, and that he will be in the mix more so than Man United, Chelsea. I think Chelsea and Arsenal. I think it'll be Man City and Liverpool, top 2.
No, you know what? At the end of the day, I mean, they're 4-10 to beat Cardiff. Cardiff battling at the bottom of the table. I think they'll walk that. I think that's a very, very good bet.
Yeah.
Both bookmakers, that's Alan Bookmaker and World Sports Betting, offering that. I've just been very, very surprised with this Liverpool side. I think that they're much better than we think they are. What's interesting for me is that they'll be in the top 4 this season if they don't win it. Where do they go from there? Who do they sign? How much money do they have? Can Brendan Rodgers, and I think that's the question. I don't think the league's been of the best caliber this season, bar Man City, Chelsea, and maybe Arsenal in the first couple of months. But I do think that he needs to take them to the next level when they do finish in the top 4. Is he a Champions League football manager? Can he manage a lot of fixtures? I mean, to be fair to everybody else, Liverpool have not been involved in any other cup competition. They went out of the FA Cup, and it's just been the league to concentrate on. And I think that's quite, if they were in another competition, that they would be faltering down where Man United are. Yeah. But it's where they go from this level. Who do they sign? Does Suarez stay? And those for me are the big questions for this club going forward. Manchester United will get it right. I mean, if they have to spend 200 million and axe David Moyes, they'll do that. Are Liverpool in the position to do that? That's the question.
No, you're right. I actually thought that if they'd lost last night, particularly if they'd lost badly and say a 0-0 draw last night, they hadn't been able to get anything against the Greeks, I do think Moyes would have gone. Rodgers obviously now stays and builds for a Champions League campaign. Spurs not going to quite make it, so you're looking at Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Those are the 3 that we'll be relying on, like Chelsea and Man United getting through to the quarterfinals this year. And obviously, Man United could be out of Europe, depending on the quarterfinal draw tomorrow. They could be out of Europe for a year, which would be a shocker. It would be absolutely shocking.
I heard the commentator last night before the Man United game, and he said something very true. He said, when will United be on this stage again? Okay, so they've done it. They got the 3 goals against Olympiacos. Once they got the 3rd goal, they seemed to drop off the game and started letting Olympiacos come onto them. And I don't know if that's Moyes' tactic or if they're not comfortable. They did it against Sunderland in the League Cup as well. They went 1-0 up and thought that it was 2-0 up and thought that it was enough, or 1-0 up and thought that it was enough, and then the side comes to get a goal in the 93rd minute, 92nd minute. And that's not how Manchester United play. And I mean, the Man United sides of the past, last night, would have scored 4, 5, maybe 6 goals against that Olympiacos side. It's like they're just doing enough, and what must be after that point. And I think if they come up against the Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, it could be an absolute horror 2 evenings for Man United fans, and I think Moyes might go just based on those performances.
Like I say, I think a big whopping in the Champions League. Even now in the quarter-final stage, at least they got to the quarter-finals. You were all saying, but I think he was really hanging. The Liverpool-Man United rivalry is hard to explain in this country, but generally people look down their noses at Scousers in England, the Liverpudlians, and the Manx in particular, the people of Manchester particularly hate losing to Liverpool. There's more violence around the ground in Liverpool Man United games. Now Leeds aren't a big club anymore than in any other game, and I'd like to have seen if there was any trouble outside the ground after the 3-1 Liverpool win.
I think the Man United fans just quickly got in their cars and went home. After that, there was no one to fight with after that performance.
No, that's the thing. A lot of Man United fans are from London now. They're all posh ones. It costs a lot of money to go to Man United. It costs over 1,500 rand to go to a Man United game. Whereas going to a Liverpool game costs you more like, a couple of £100. Interesting. Listen, I always have to make the point that you guys don't just do soccer. I need a quick look at the World T20 cricket, which is, I mean, it's being played at the moment. It's all guys like Afghanistan and Nepal. I just wondered if you had a tip for us for the World T20. Well,
the World T20 is a very, very interesting tournament. It's in Bangladesh. South Africa generally don't do well over those spinning pitches. Both bookmakers have them at 7-1.
7-1 South Africa.
7-1 South Africa to win the tournament. Personally, I would stay away from them. I know that punters love to play with their hearts, but I just don't think that those conditions will suit us. Although in the warm-up game yesterday, we gave Pakistan a nice high.
That's right, yeah.
However, Dale Steyn did pull up injured after that. So
he did, yeah.
I just think that if he doesn't play, Tatorba is just not good enough to spearhead the attack. Morkel is a little bit erratic and he does go for runs. So, 7-1, I suppose it is a bit of value, but you look at the sides they've got to beat. I mean, that Australian team that beat us here, that's a great T20 side in my opinion.
But no Mitchell Johnson. No Michael Clark.
Johnson, but I tell you what, those guys aren't really part of the 2020 fold.
No, true.
I mean, the batsmen that they've got, David Warner, they're just, their bowlers are good. Mitchell Stark, they're a side that adapts to 2020 conditions very, very well. I mean, they made us look stupid here over those 2 2020s. I know that the games were shortened and the rain got involved, but it's just the confidence that you need to have in 2020 to chase down a score. South Africa just have that missing. Australia are favourites to win the tournament at 7-2 with both bookmakers. That's also a little bit short for me. I think the value comes in the form of the West Indies. The West Indies are 9-1 to win the tournament. I think they've shortened a little bit, 8.5-1 now with the bookmakers, and they are the defending champions. They're the holders of the trophy. And gee whiz, they have a batting lineup that can chase 300 if they have to. And I watched them against England in a couple of 2020s, and they've got bowlers there that I promise you, on slow wickets, they'll be hard to hit off. A guy named Santoki, Badri, the spinner, Green, best spinner in 2020s in the world. So, I mean, for me, this tournament's going to be about bowling, who can contain the batsmen the best. And they've got a very good bowling attack. Pakistan as well, you can never count them out. And Sri Lanka with Malinga. India, for me, great batting side, not a very good bowling side, and I think that's where they'll come short in this tournament. They are 9-2. So,
hold on, what do you got for the Windies? I'm just looking now. Windies outright win, 9-1.
The West Indies are 9-1.
9-1, yeah. I think that's a good bet. If I was going to bet on it, looking at a quite exuberant West Indies that gave England a troubled time, I just wonder if you go after them. Chris Gale's there.
Yeah, I mean, you have a look at it. If Chris Gale's in that side, they can beat anyone and chase any score. That's the reality of the situation. The man only plays 2020 cricket. And geez, I think he's good for. I think he'll be top run scorer here again. He's good for 30, 40 runs a game, and you get a good start in 2020. It's hard to be beaten, especially with the bowlers that I've seen the West Indies have. They are the holders of the tournament, And, cricket tournaments, it's very easy to defend, once you're the holder. I mean, we've seen Australia do it in the World Cup 3 times in a row. So the better sides, tend to win. And I think they'll be right up there. Although they are 9-1 because of the group that they're in. The pool that they're in is very, very difficult.
Yeah,
Australia, India. So, but I think they'll be in the top 2 in that group, and I think they'll beat anyone on their day, and they can be in the semis. Punter looking to buy the 9-1. When they get to the semi-finals, they'll be 3-4-1 to win the tournament. You make a bit of profit back the other teams. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. But obviously, as a South African, I hope that they do well.
Yeah, 7-1 on South Africa. Not recommended spinning pitch, but you never know. They beat Pakistan by 8 wickets yesterday in a warm-up. Brandon, thanks a million. Thanks for your football help. Thanks for your cricket help. And let's see where we go. Next week we should have a picture of how the early games in that World T20 in Bangladesh. And that'll be good. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Neil. I just want to end off by saying that, South Africa did hammer Pakistan yesterday.
Yeah.
But I think those Pakistani players backed South Africa to win the game.
And that's it from a betting man. I'm not saying anything.
Cheers.
Excellent, Brandon. Thanks a million, mate.
Guy.
Cheers. Have a good one. Brandon from Top Odds Compare. Brilliant, because he can talk rugby, he can talk cricket, he can talk football. Get your bets on. Get your bets on West Indies at 9-1. All the Proteas at 7-1 for the World T20 in Bangladesh. I think my godson Alex Hales was out for 16 yesterday playing for England. They lost again in their warm-up. And in the title race, he's saying what everyone else is saying. But Bidvest very disappointing last couple of games. Pitso and Sundowns not going to quite get there. It's got to be Kaiser Chiefs.